Captain Jake Morrison, stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around the massive docking bay of the Nexus Prime. The alien ship was huge beyond anything he had ever seen. The walls stretched up so high that he could barely see the ceiling. Strange lights pulsed in patterns that hurt his eyes if he looked too long. His team walked behind him in tight formation. Dr. Lisa Hamilton carried her research equipment and looked excited despite the nervous energy around them. Lieutenant Ben Carter kept his hand near his weapon even though they had agreed to come unarmed. The other crew members stayed close together like they were walking into enemy territory. A group of tall reptilian aliens approached them. Their leader stood almost 9 feet tall with dark green scales that seemed to shift color in the strange light. His eyes were yellow and cold as he looked down at the humans. Sharp teeth showed when he opened his mouth to speak. "So these are the humans," the alien said in a voice that sounded like rocks grinding together. "I am War Chief Slack of the Cathara. You are smaller than we expected." The translation device in Jake's ear made the words sound normal, but he could hear the mockery underneath. The other aliens behind Slack made sounds that the translator said were laughter. Jake kept his face calm and extended his hand. "I am Captain Jake Morrison. We are honored to meet you and the Coalition." Slack looked at Jake's hand like it was something disgusting. He did not shake it. Instead, he turned to the other aliens and spoke in their language. More laughter followed. "Your people sent warriors to represent them?" Slack asked. "These look like prey animals. Where are your claws, your fangs, your natural weapons?" Jake lowered his hand slowly. "We come in peace to learn about your civilization and share our own." "Peace?" Slack repeated the word like it tasted bad. "Only the weak speak of peace. The strong take what they need." Dr. Hamilton stepped forward. "We believe that cooperation makes all species stronger. On Earth, we have learned that working together achieves more than fighting alone." A different alien moved closer. This one looked like it was made of blue crystals that clinked when it walked. "Working together?" it said in a voice like breaking glass. "You mean you cannot survive alone? How pathetic." "We can survive alone," Ben said before Jake could stop him. "We just choose not to." The aliens made more laughing sounds. Slack showed more of his teeth. "Choose? You have no choice. You are weak, so you huddle together like frightened animals." A third alien joined the group. This one looked like a giant insect with too many arms and compound eyes that reflected the light. "On my world, we eat creatures like this," it said. "They taste better when they are afraid?" Jake felt his jaw tighten but kept his voice level. "We did not come here to fight. We came to learn." "Learn?" Slack moved closer until Jake had to crane his neck to look up at him. "What could you possibly teach us?" "We have traveled between stars for thousands of years. We have conquered worlds. We have bent the galaxy to our will. You have barely left your own planet." "We have achieved much in our short time," Lisa said. "We have cured diseases, created art, built cities, and learned to live in harmony with different peoples." "Harmony?" The crystal alien made a noise like breaking glass. "You mean you are too weak to establish dominance? On my world, the strongest rule and the weak serve." "This is natural law." "Natural law," the insect alien agreed. "The predator hunts the prey. The strong consume the weak. This is the way of all life?" Jake looked around the docking bay. More aliens had gathered to watch the encounter. Some looked curious, but most seemed amused. He realized this was not just a greeting, but a show. The humans were being displayed like captured animals. "Your ship is impressive," Jake said, trying to change the subject. "We would be honored to learn about your technology." "Technology?" Slack laughed. "You think technology makes you equal to us? Tools are for those who lack natural gifts. See these?" He held up his hands and extended long claws that gleamed like metal. "These are weapons. I need no tools. And these," he opened his mouth wider to show rows of sharp teeth. "These are for tearing flesh. What weapons do you have?" Jake looked at his own hands. They seemed small and soft compared to the alien's claws. "We have our minds, our ability to adapt and learn." "Minds?" The insect alien clicked its mandibles. "Prey animals." always think they are clever. It does not help them when the hunter comes. A new voice spoke from above them. Jake looked up to see a cloud of glowing gas that seemed to have a face inside it. The humans smell of fear, it said in a voice like wind. They know they are outmatched. We are not afraid, Ben said louder than he should have. We have faced dangers on our world that would terrify you. The aliens made more laughing sounds. Dangers? Slack asked. What dangers could exist on a world of prey animals? We have predators, Lisa said. Bears, wolves, sharks, lions. We learn to survive by working together and using our intelligence. Predators. The crystal alien made dismissive sounds. If they were true predators, you would be extinct. Your existence proves they were weak. Jake felt anger rising in his chest but forced it down. These aliens were testing them, trying to provoke a reaction. He had to stay calm for the sake of the mission. Perhaps we could see more of your ship, he said. We have much to learn from each other. Learn from each other, Slack repeated. What could you teach us? How to be weak, how to fail, how to die. We could teach you about cooperation, Lisa said. About building instead of just taking. About creating beauty and art and music. Art, the insect alien made disgusted sounds. Useless waste of time. Only the weak create art. The strong create victory. Music, the cloud alien said, noise that serves no purpose. We have no need for such things. Jake realized that these aliens saw the world in completely different terms than humans did. For them, everything was about dominance and strength. They could not understand cooperation or creation for its own sake. We have prepared quarters for you, Slack said, in the lower levels where you will be comfortable. Tomorrow we will test your capabilities. Test our capabilities? Jake asked. To see if you are worthy of joining the coalition, Slack said. Though I suspect you will fail quickly. The aliens began to move away. Jake and his team followed them deeper into the ship. The corridors were huge and filled with strange smells. Other aliens stopped to stare at them as they passed. Some made sounds that the translator said were insults. Their quarters were small and cramped compared to the rest of the ship. The beds were too hard and the air smelled wrong. As soon as they were alone, Ben exploded. Did you hear them? He said. They think we are animals. They think we are weak. They are testing us, Jake said. We expected this. Testing us? Ben paced back and forth. They are humiliating us. They think we are prey. Maybe we are, Lisa said quietly. From their perspective, we are smaller, weaker, have no natural weapons. In their worldview, we would be prey. We are not prey, Ben said. Humans are survivors. We have survived ice ages and wars and plagues. We have climbed to the top of the food chain on our world. Their world is different, Jake said. Their rules are different. We need to understand. Then before we can earn their respect. Earn their respect? Ben laughed bitterly. They will never respect us. To them, we will always be weak prey animals. Jake looked out the small window at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there was Earth with its blue oceans and green forests. Home seemed very far away. We will prove them wrong, he said. We will show them what humans can do. But as he lay down to sleep that night, Jake wondered if they would ever get the chance. The aliens saw them as weak and worthless. How could they prove otherwise when they were so completely outmatched? Far below, in the depths of the ship, something stirred in the darkness. Ancient eyes opened and ancient nostrils flared. The scent of something new had entered the ship. Something that smelled of struggle and survival and the will to protect the pack. The Zarathan had caught the scent of humanity. The next morning brought new humiliation for the human delegation. War Chief Slack arrived at their quarters with a group of Kithara warriors wearing what looked like armor made of metal and bone. Their yellow eyes gleamed with anticipation as they looked at the humans. Time for your evaluation, Slack announced. We must see if you are worthy of joining the coalition or if you should return to your primitive world. Jake and his team followed the aliens through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. Other aliens stopped their activities to watch the humans pass. Some made clicking sounds with their mouths that the translator said were bets about how quickly the humans would fail. They entered a massive chamber with a floor covered in sand and dirt. The walls rose high above them and were lined with viewing platforms where hundreds of aliens had gathered to watch. The air smelled of sweat and fear and something else that Jake could not identify. "This is the proving ground," Slack said. "Here. We test the strength of all who wish to join us. You will face our warriors in combat to show your worth." "Combat?" Lisa asked. "We came here for peaceful contact." "Peace is for the weak," Slack replied. "Strength must be proven through battle. Captain Morrison, you will fight first." A Cathara warrior stepped forward. He was almost as tall as Slack, with scars across his scaled face and arms. His claws were longer than Jake's fingers and looked sharp enough to cut through metal. The alien flexed his muscles and showed his teeth in what might have been a smile. "This is Subcommander Thrix," Slack said. "He has killed enemies from 17 different worlds. He will be gentle with you." Jake looked up at the viewing platforms. Hundreds of alien faces stared down at him. He could hear them making sounds that the translator said were laughter and mockery. Some were making those betting sounds again. "I accept," Jake said. Thrix moved faster than Jake expected. One moment he was standing across the arena, and the next he was right in front of Jake, swinging his claws. Jake barely managed to duck and roll away. As the claws whistled through the air where his head had been, the aliens in the stands made excited sounds. Jake could hear Ben shouting encouragement, but it sounded far away. Thrix turned and came at him again with his claws extended, and his mouth open to show his teeth. Jake tried to use his military training. He dodged and weaved and looked for openings to strike back. But Thrix was too fast and too strong. Every time Jake tried to land a hit, the alien blocked it easily with his armored scales. Thrix's claws raked across Jake's arm, leaving long scratches. That burned. Jake stumbled backward and Thrix pressed his advantage. He grabbed Jake by the shoulders and lifted him off the ground like he weighed nothing. "Weak," Thrix said in his grinding voice. "Your bones are like twigs. Your skin is like paper. How did your species survive?" Jake tried to break free, but Thrix's grip was too strong. The alien held him up for the crowd to see. The sounds from the viewing platforms grew louder. Jake could hear words like pathetic and useless and prey coming through his translator. Thrix threw Jake across the arena. Jake hit the ground hard and rolled until he hit the wall. Pain shot through his ribs and his vision blurred. When he tried to stand, his legs shook. "Enough," Thrix said. "This is not a warrior, this is food." The aliens in the stands made sounds of agreement. Jake forced himself to his feet even though it hurt. He was not going to give up. Not with his team watching. Not with all these aliens expecting him to fail. "Again," Jake said. Thrix looked surprised. "You wish to suffer more?" "Again," Jake repeated. This time Jake lasted a little longer. He managed to land one hit on Thrix's chest, but it did no damage at all. Thrix's scales were harder than rock. When Thrix finally knocked him down again, Jake's nose was bleeding and his left eye was swelling shut. "Still not enough," Thrix said. "You fight like a child." Jake got up again and again and again. Each time Thrix knocked him down faster and harder. By the 5th time, Jake could barely stand. His uniform was torn and bloody and his whole body ached. "Why do you continue?" Thrix asked. "You cannot win. You cannot even hurt me." "Because," Jake said through swollen lips, "giving up is not what humans do." Something in his voice made Thrix pause. The alien looked at him with what might have been confusion. "Your pack leader is brave," Thrix said to the other humans. "Foolish but brave." The testing continued with the other humans. Ben fought a different Cathara warrior and lost just as badly as Jake had. Lisa was forced to solve puzzles that required strength she did not have. Each test was designed to show how inferior humans were to the aliens. When it was over, the humans were bruised and exhausted. They sat in the sand while the aliens discussed their performance. Jake could hear words like disappointing and worthless and waste of time coming from the viewing platforms. "You have failed," Slack announced. "You are not warriors. You are not worthy of the coalition." We are not just warriors, Lisa said. We are builders and healers and teachers. Builders? The crystal alien made dismissive sounds. Anyone can build. Only the strong can destroy. Healers, the insect alien clicked its mandibles. Weakness helping weakness. Natural selection? Should remove the injured. Jake stood up slowly. His ribs hurt and his head was spinning, but he forced himself to stay upright. We may not be the strongest, but we do not give up. We protect our own. We help each other. Help each other, Slack repeated. Pack behavior, like animals. Yes, Jake said, like animals. Like wolves and lions and humans. We work together because together we are stronger than any individual. The aliens made more laughing sounds. They did not understand what Jake meant. To them, strength was individual power. They could not see the strength in cooperation. That night the humans were given food in the ship's dining hall. They had to wait until all the aliens had eaten first. The leftovers were cold and tasted strange, but they were hungry enough to eat them anyway. They think we are animals, Ben said quietly. They think we are pets. Maybe we are, Lisa said. From their perspective, we are smaller and weaker and have no natural weapons. We are not pets, Jake said. We are survivors. Humans have survived everything our world could throw at us. We will survive this too. How? Ben asked. They are stronger and faster and have better technology. What can we do against them? We can be human, Jake said. We can show them what? That means... But Jake was not sure what being human meant in this place. The aliens did not value the things that humans valued. They did not understand cooperation or compassion or the willingness to sacrifice for others. Deep in the ship's lower levels, something moved in the darkness. The Zarathan had been contained for decades in the bio-research section. It was the most dangerous predator the Kithara had ever captured. Even they feared it. The creature stood 12 feet tall with scales like black metal. Its eyes glowed with intelligence that was almost sentient. It had been listening to the sounds from above, the sounds of testing and fighting, and the strange scent that had entered the ship. The Zarathan pressed against its containment field. The energy barrier sparked and hummed under the pressure. The creature made a sound deep in its throat that would have terrified any Kithara who heard it, but it was not a sound of anger or hunger. It was a sound of recognition. The Zarathan had caught the scent of something it had not smelled in many years, the scent of a true predator. Not the artificial dominance of the Kithara with their technology and their rigid hierarchies. Something older and more primal, the scent of creatures who hunted not for sport or dominance but for survival, who protected their pack at any cost. Who would rather die than surrender? The Zarathan had caught the scent of humanity, and it remembered what it meant to be wild. The alarm started screaming at 3 a.m. ship time. Jake woke up instantly from years of military training while his team scrambled to get dressed. The lights in their quarters flickered red, and the ship shuddered like something had hit it. What is happening? Lisa asked as she grabbed her equipment. Emergency systems are active, Ben said, checking his communicator. Looks like some kind of storm damage. The corridor outside their quarters was filled with running aliens. The Kithara warriors were shouting orders while the other species moved in different directions. No one paid attention to the humans as they tried to figure out what was going on. Jake grabbed a passing Kithara technician. What is the emergency? Cosmic storm, the alien replied without stopping. Main power grid is damaged. Containment fields are failing. Containment fields? Jake asked, but the alien was already gone. The ship shuddered again, and the lights went out completely. Emergency lighting kicked in a few seconds later, casting everything in an eerie red glow. Jake could hear sounds coming from deeper in the ship, sounds that made his skin crawl. Those are not mechanical sounds, Lisa said quietly. Those are animal sounds. What kind of animals? Ben asked. The kind that have been locked up, Jake replied. The kind that are now getting loose. A new alarm joined the first one. This time the ship's computer spoke in multiple languages including English, bio-containment breach in sections 12 through 15, All personnel evacuate to upper levels immediately. They owe containment, Lisa repeated. They have been keeping live specimens on this ship. What kind of specimens? Ben asked. Their question was answered when something roared from the direction they had come from. The sound was so loud and so filled with rage that it shook the walls. Jake had never heard anything like it, but every instinct in his body told him to run. That kind, he said. The aliens around them were panicking. The Kithara warriors who had seemed so confident and strong were now running away from the lower levels. Some of them were making sounds that the translator said were prayers. We need to get to the upper levels, Ben said. Like everyone else? No, Jake said. We need to go down. Down? Lisa stared at him. Jake, there are dangerous predators down there. Exactly, Jake said. And if they reach the civilian areas, people will die? People? Ben laughed bitterly. You mean the same aliens who have been treating us like animals? The ones who think we are worthless prey? Yes, Jake said simply, because that is what humans do. We protect others even when they do not deserve it. Another roar came from below. This time it was answered by different sounds. Clicking and buzzing and something that sounded like breaking glass. Multiple creatures were loose and they were not happy. We do not have weapons, Lisa pointed out. We came here unarmed. We have our minds, Jake said, and we have each other. The 3 humans moved against the flow of fleeing aliens. They went down corridors that were now empty except for the emergency lighting. The sounds grew louder as they descended. Jake could smell something wild and dangerous in the air. There, Lisa pointed to a wall display. Bio-containment section layout. Looks like they had specimens from at least 6 different worlds. What kind of specimens? Ben asked. Apex predators, Lisa read from the display. The most dangerous creatures from each coalition world. They keep them for research and as symbols of power. And now they are loose, Jake said. How many? 12 different species, Lisa said, including something called a Zarathan from the Kithara homeworld. The display showed a picture of the Zarathan. It was huge and covered in black scales with glowing eyes and claws like swords. Even in the picture it looked terrifying. That thing could kill everyone on this ship, Ben said. Then we better find it first, Jake replied. They moved deeper into the ship following the sounds of chaos. The emergency lighting made everything look like a nightmare. Broken containment fields sparked and hummed. Claw marks gouged the walls where something had tried to escape. They found the first loose creature in a side corridor. It looked like a giant spider made of metal with too many legs and eyes that glowed red. It was feeding on something that had been a Kithara technician. How do we fight that? Ben whispered. We do not fight it, Jake said. We study it. Lisa was already pulling out her scanner. Carbon-based life form despite the metallic appearance. Probably sensitive to heat and electrical interference. The emergency lighting? Jake said. It runs on electrical current. They work together to reroute power from the emergency system. When Jake overloaded the lighting panel, the creature shrieked and retreated from the electrical discharge. They managed to drive it back into a damaged containment cell. 1 down, Lisa said. 11 to go. They found more creatures as they moved through the ship. Each one was different and deadly in its own way. But each one had weaknesses that could be exploited if they worked together and used their intelligence. The crystal creature from the viewing platforms was loose and cutting through bulkheads with its sharp edges. They managed to trap it using sonic feedback from the ship's communication system, a pack of creatures that looked like flying snakes with many teeth were terrorizing a group of Trelawney workers. The humans used fire-suppressant foam to ground them and drive them back to their containment area. We are actually doing this, Ben said as they sealed another creature away. We are hunting apex predators. We are not hunting them, Jake corrected. We are protecting others from them. Same thing, Lisa said. We are acting like predators to stop predators. They were tired and injured by the time they reached the deepest level of the ship. Jake had claw marks on his arms and Lisa had a burn from one of the creatures. Ben was limping from where something had tried to bite his leg. The last containment cell was different from the others. It was bigger and stronger, and the metal around it was scorched black. The door was twisted and broken and hanging open. "The Zarathan," Lisa said quietly. "Where is it?" Ben asked. "Listening," Jake said. He could feel eyes watching them from the darkness. Something large and intelligent was studying them from the shadows. Jake stepped forward slowly with his hands visible. "We know you are there," he said. "We are not here to hurt you." A sound came from the darkness, deep and rumbling like distant thunder. The translator could not make sense of it, but Jake felt like he understood anyway. "You have been caged," Jake said. "We understand what that feels like." The Zarathan stepped into the light. It was even bigger than the picture had shown. 12 feet of muscle and bone and scales that looked like blackle. Its eyes glowed with intelligence that was almost human, but it was not attacking. It was watching them with something that might have been curiosity. "You hunt?" the Zarathan said, in a voice like grinding stone. "But not for food. Not for territory. Why?" "To protect others," Jake said. "To protect the pack." The Zarathan tilted its massive head. "Pack? You have no pack. You are alone." "We are never alone," Jake said. "Humans are always part of a pack, even when we are far from home." "Show me." The Zarathan said. Jake looked at Lisa and Ben. They nodded. Without speaking, they moved into formation. Jake in front, Lisa scanning for threats, Ben watching their backs. They moved like they had trained together for years. The Zarathan made a sound deep in its throat. The translator said it was surprise. "You move like hunters," the Zarathan said, "but you smell like prey." "We are both," Jake said. "We are human." The great creature stepped closer. Jake could smell its breath and see his reflection in its glowing eyes. Every instinct told him to run, but he stood his ground. "I know you, little hunter," the Zarathan said. "I know what you are." The Zarathan's escape sent waves of terror through the entire ship. Jake could hear screaming from the upper levels as the news spread. The most feared predator in Cathara space was loose and nothing could stop it. War Chief Slack's voice boomed through the ship's communication system. "All personnel to emergency stations. Seal all blast doors. The Void Stalker is free." "Void Stalker?" Lisa asked. "That is what they call me," the Zarathan replied. Its voice was deep and ancient like stones, grinding together. "I am death in the darkness. I am the hunter that cannot be hunted. Why did you escape?" Jake asked. The great creature looked at him with eyes that glowed like stars. "I smelled something I have not smelled in many years. The scent of true hunters." "We are not hunters." Ben said. "We are just trying to help." "You hunt to protect your pack," the Zarathan said. "This is what true hunters do. Not for sport or dominance, but for survival and protection." Heavy footsteps echoed through the corridors above them. The Cathara warriors were coming, but they were moving slowly and carefully. Even armed with their advanced weapons, they feared the Zarathan. "You must hide," the Zarathan said to the humans. "They will kill you to appease me." "We will not hide," Jake said. "We face our problems together," the Zarathan tilted its massive head. "Even when facing death?" "Especially then," Jake replied. Slack's voice came over the communication system again. "The humans caused this. Their presence has disturbed the Void Stalker. We must sacrifice them to calm its rage." "See," the Zarathan said. "They offer you as prey to save themselves. This is not the way of hunters." "It is the way of cowards," Jake said. The Zarathan made a sound that might have been laughter. "Yes, cowards who hide behind weapons and technology. They have forgotten what it means to hunt." The blast doors at the end of the corridor slammed shut. Jake could hear weapons powering up on the other side. The Cathara warriors were preparing to fight, but they were also preparing to run if things went badly. "We could work together," Jake said to the Zarathan. "We could show them what real hunters can do." "You would stand with me?" the Zarathan asked. "Even though I could kill you without effort?" "Yes," Jake said, "because that is what pack members do." The Zarathan studied Jake's face for a long moment. Then it did something unexpected. It lowered its head until it was level with Jake's eyes. I have lived for 300 years, the Zarathan said. I have fought creatures from a dozen worlds. I have killed warriors and predators and things that had no names. But I have never met another hunter who would stand with me against impossible odds. You have now, Jake said. The Zarathan's eyes began to glow brighter. There is an old ritual among my kind, a binding between hunters who recognize each other as equals. It has not been performed in centuries. What kind of ritual? Lisa asked. The Oath of Brotherhood, the Zarathan said. It creates a bond between apex predators, a sharing of strength and purpose. The blast doors began to open. Jake could see the barrels of energy weapons pointing through the gap. Red targeting lasers painted dots on the walls around them. The Kithara come, the Zarathan said. Will you stand with me, little hunter? Jake looked at his team. Lisa nodded. Ben gripped his makeshift weapon tighter. They were scared, but they were not running. Yes, Jake said, we stand with you. The Zarathan rose to its full height and let out a roar that shook the entire ship. It was not a sound of anger, but of recognition, of respect, of brotherhood. Then we hunt together, the Zarathan said. The ritual began without warning. The Zarathan extended one massive claw and drew it across its own palm. Black blood that glowed like oil dripped onto the floor. Then it held out its hand to Jake. Your blood with mine, the Zarathan said. Your strength with mine, your pack with mine. Jake took out his knife and cut his own palm. Human blood mixed with alien blood on the metal floor. The mixture began to glow with its own light. I swear by the hunt that never ends, the Zarathan said in words that seemed to come from somewhere deep in time. You are my brother in the chase, my equal in the kill, my companion until death takes us both. Jake felt something change inside him. His senses became sharper. He could smell the fear of the Kithara warriors behind the blast doors. He could hear their hearts beating, fast with terror. He could feel the Zarathan's strength flowing through him like electricity. I swear by the pack that never breaks, Jake said, not knowing where the words came from. You are my brother in the hunt, my equal in the fight, my companion until the last breath leaves our bodies. The mixed blood on the floor flared bright enough to blind them for a moment. When Jake's vision cleared, he could see things differently. The ship around him seemed smaller and less threatening. The sounds from above were clearer and more meaningful. It is done, the Zarathan said. We are bonded, brother. The blast doors opened fully and Kithara warriors poured through. They moved in perfect formation with their weapons raised and their scales gleaming in the emergency lighting. War Chief Slack led them with his claws extended and his teeth bared. Surrender the humans, Voidstalker, Slack demanded. They have caused enough trouble. These are not humans, the Zarathan replied. This is my brother. These are my pack. The warriors stopped moving. Jake could smell their confusion and fear. They had expected to find terrified prey animals cowering before their apex predator. Instead, they found something they did not understand. Brother? Slack repeated. Impossible. You are a solitary hunter. You bond with no one. I bond with those who prove themselves worthy, the Zarathan said. These small ones fought beside me. They hunted to protect others. They stood against death without flinching. They are prey, Slack said. Weak and helpless, are they? The Zarathan asked. Then why do you bring 30 warriors to face 3 of them? Jake stepped forward. The bond with the Zarathan had changed him. He felt stronger and more confident. He could sense the fear in the Kithara warriors despite their weapons and armor. We did not come here to fight you, Jake said. We came to help. When your creatures escaped, we hunted them down. When your people were in danger, we protected them. You protected no one, Slack said. You caused the problem. We solved the problem, Lisa said. She had been quiet during the ritual, but now she spoke with new confidence. We captured 11 apex predators while your warriors ran away. Lies, Slack said, but his voice sounded uncertain. Truth, the Zarathan said. I watched them hunt. I saw them work together. They move like a pack, but fight like individuals. They are everything you pretend to be. Slack's claws extended further. You forget yourself, Voidstalker. You are our prisoner, our trophy. You do not make judgments about your betters. Betters? The Zarathan laughed, and the sound made several warriors step backward. You call yourselves my betters? You who needed 30 warriors and advanced weapons to capture one injured youngling 3 centuries ago? You were defeated, Slack said. I was betrayed, the Zarathan corrected, by one I trusted. But these humans earned their brotherhood through action, through sacrifice, through the willingness to die for their pack. Jake felt the bond between him and the Zarathan growing stronger. He could sense the alien's thoughts and feelings. The Zarathan had been alone for so long that it had forgotten what it meant to have allies. We are not your enemies, Jake said to Slack. We came here in peace. We want to learn from you and share what we know. You have nothing to teach us, Slack sighed. You are weak prey animals who got lucky. Then prove it, the Zarathan said. Face me in single combat as your ancestors did. Show these humans how strong you really are. The challenge hung in the air like a physical thing. Jake could smell the terror coming from the Cathara warriors. None of them wanted to face the Zarathan. Alone, I accept, Slack said finally. But when I win, the humans die. And when I win, the Zarathan said, the humans are free to go, and you acknowledge them as equals. You will not win, Slack said. We will see, the Zarathan replied. The arena was packed with every alien on the ship. Word of the challenge had spread quickly through the coalition networks. Representatives from dozens of worlds watched from viewing platforms as Warchief Slack faced the Zarathan in single combat. Jake stood beside his bonded brother, feeling the creature's calm confidence through their shared link. The ritual had changed him in ways he was still discovering. His senses were sharper and his reflexes faster. He could smell the fear and excitement of the watching crowd. Are you ready, brother? The Zarathan asked without speaking. The words formed directly in Jake's mind through their bond. Ready? Jake replied the same way. Slack entered the arena wearing his finest battle armor. The metal plates were decorated with the skulls of creatures he had killed. His claws had been sharpened to points that could cut through steel. He moved, with the confidence of someone who had never lost a fight. This is illegal, one of the crystal aliens said from the viewing platform. The Voidstalker is our property. It cannot challenge coalition leadership. Ancient law supersedes modern rules, the Zarathan replied loud enough for everyone to hear. The right of challenge cannot be denied. Ancient law is meaningless, Slack said as he took his position. We live in a civilized age now. Might does. Not make right? Does it not? The Zarathan asked. Then why do you rule through strength? Why do the weak serve the strong in your coalition? Slack had no answer for that, and the watching aliens murmured among themselves. Many of them had never questioned the way their society worked. Begin, announced the ship's computer. Slack attacked immediately. He was fast and skilled and fought with the experience of hundreds of battles. His claws sparked against the Zarathans' scales as he tried to find weak spots in the creature's natural armor, but the Zarathan was faster. It moved like liquid darkness flowing around Slack's attacks. When it struck back, its claws left deep gouges in Slack's armor. The war chief stumbled and barely avoided a killing blow. You have grown soft, the Zarathan said as they circled each other. Centuries of easy victories against weaker opponents have made you slow. I am the strongest warrior in the coalition, Slack said through gritted teeth. You are the strongest. Bully, the Zarathan corrected. There is a difference. Jake watched the fight through his enhanced senses. He could see things the other observers missed. The way Slack favored his left side. The slight tremor in his hands that showed his fear. The way he kept looking toward the exit as if planning to run. He is already beaten, Jake said to Lisa. And Ben, he just does not know it yet. The fight continued for several more minutes, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Zarathan was playing with Slack the way a cat plays with a mouse. When it finally decided to end things, it moved so fast that most of the observers missed what happened. One moment Slack was standing. The next he was on the ground with the Zarathan's claws at his throat. His armor was cracked and broken. Blood seeped from dozens of small wounds. "Yield," the Zarathan said. "Never," Slack gasped. "Then die," the Zarathan said and pressed its claws deeper. "Wait," Jake said. He walked into the arena despite the gasps from the watching aliens. "Let him live." "Why?" the Zarathan asked. "He would have killed the humans without hesitation." "Because that is what separates us from him," Jake said. "We do not kill unless we have to. We show mercy to the defeated." The Zarathan looked at Jake for a long moment, then it stepped back from Slack. "You are wiser than I am, brother. This is why you lead and I follow." The watching aliens erupted in shocked voices. The idea that the Void Stalker would follow anyone was impossible to believe. Jake helped Slack to his feet. The former war chief looked at him with confusion and something that might have been gratitude. "Why?" Slack asked. "Because everyone deserves a second chance," Jake said. "Even you." News of the fight spread through the galactic networks faster than light. Within hours, every coalition world knew that the humans had bonded with the Kithra's apex predator. The implications were staggering. Emergency sessions were called on dozens of worlds. Military leaders tried to figure out what this meant for the balance of power. Scientists studied the recordings of the Brotherhood ritual. Philosophers debated what it meant for a prey species to bond with an apex predator. The crystal alien who had called the fight illegal demanded that the results be overturned. "This changes nothing," it said. "The humans are still weak. The Void Stalker is still our prisoner." "Is it?" Jake asked. He was in the ship's main conference room facing representatives from all the coalition species. The Zarathan stood beside him like a living shadow. "You are our prisoner too now," the insect alien clicked. "You bonded with our property. That makes you our property as well." "Try to take us," the Zarathan said quietly. The room fell silent. Everyone remembered what had happened to Slack. No one wanted to face the Void Stalker in combat. "There must be rules," the gaseous alien said. "There must be order. Without hierarchy, there is chaos." "There can be order without oppression," Lisa said. She had been studying the coalition's social structures. "There can be cooperation without domination." "Impossible," the crystal alien said. "The strong must rule the weak. This is natural law." "Natural law," Jake repeated. "Like the law that says apex predators hunt alone?" He gestured to himself and the Zarathan. The bonded pair stood together as proof that even the most basic assumptions could be wrong. "We propose a new law," Jake said. "The law of earned respect. Strength is not just physical power. Intelligence matters. Cooperation matters. The willingness to sacrifice for others matters." "Ridiculous," the insect alien said. "How do you measure such things?" "By results," Jake said. "We protected your people when your warriors ran away. We solved your problems when your leaders failed. We showed mercy when we could have taken revenge." More aliens entered the conference room. Jake recognized some of them as crew members who had been trapped in the lower levels during the creature escape. They looked at the humans with something that had not been there before: respect. "The humans saved us," one of them said. "When the metal spiders escaped, they drove them back. When the crystal cutters were loose, they stopped them. They risked their lives for us. And for what?" Another alien added, "For people who had treated them badly. For people who had called them weak and worthless." The room erupted in arguments. Some aliens supported the traditional hierarchy. Others began to question whether strength alone should determine leadership. "Enough," the Zarathan said, and its voice cut through the noise like a blade. "The old ways are dead. My brother has shown me a better path." "What path?" the gaseous alien asked. "The path of the pack," Jake said. "Where every member contributes according to their abilities. Where the strong protect the weak instead of exploiting them. Where cooperation makes everyone stronger. And if we refuse?" The crystal alien asked. Jake looked at the Zarathan. The great creature's eyes began to glow brighter. "Then you can try to enforce the old ways," Jake said. "But you will have to go through us first." The threat was clear. The Zarathan could destroy any ship in the coalition fleet. with the humans providing tactical support and strategic planning. They would be unstoppable. What do you want? The insect alien asked finally. Partnership, Jake said. Real partnership where all species are valued for what they contribute, where decisions are made together instead of imposed by the strongest. The Apex Accords, Lisa added. She had been working on the proposal since the Brotherhood ritual, a new framework for galactic cooperation based on mutual respect and shared strength. The debate continued for hours. Some species threatened to leave the coalition rather than accept equality with humans. Others saw the wisdom in the new approach. The Zarathan's presence kept the discussion civil but tense. In the end, pragmatism won. The coalition could not afford to lose Earth's cooperation or face the Zarathan's wrath. The Apex Accords were signed with modifications that satisfied most parties. Jake stood on the observation deck watching Earth grow larger as they approached home. The Zarathan stood beside him, looking at the blue and green world with curious eyes. Your pack world is beautiful, the Zarathan said. I understand now why you fight so hard to protect others. You see the value in life itself. All life has value, Jake said, even the life of someone who tries to hurt you. This is why I follow you, brother, the Zarathan said. You see strength where others see weakness. You find hope where others find despair. Behind them, the coalition fleet waited in formation. Ships from dozens of worlds had come to witness humanity's return home, but they were no longer observers or judges. They were partners in a new kind of alliance. The hunt continues, Jake said. Yes, the Zarathan agreed, but now we hunt together. Earth hung before them like a jewel in the darkness, home to the species that had earned the respect of the galaxy's apex predators. Through courage and compassion rather than strength and fear, the future stretched ahead full of possibilities that no one had imagined before humans proved that even the weakest could be the strongest. When they stood together,